So the hacking team is back. We'll remember that about 4 months ago, a hacker known only as Phineas Fisher, as he identified himself, hacked into the hacking team and put 400 gig of their previously private internal data, including emails, customer lists, and the source code of their proprietary RCS, their basically a remote access Trojan, a rat. They called it RCS, remote control system. And their customer list showed that U.S. law enforcement was, FBI, NSA, CIA, DEA under sort of shell corporations were actively buying this technology as part of their cyber efforts. So, and of course, we also discovered a bunch of 0 days that were completely unknown. It took a while because 400 gigs of data is like you're drowning in wealth there. But what we found was, flash 0 days, like a bunch of them, and some Windows 0 days. So these are things that they were leveraging themselves and or selling to others for their own use. So this was a massive black eye for this group. And it's taken them now about 4 months. On the 19th, a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, rather, their CEO, David Vincenzetti, wrote to their mailing list, which, by the way, we have. When we know everybody's on it, we know everything. He wrote, most law enforcement agencies in the U.S. and abroad will become blind. They will go dark. They will simply be unable to fight vicious phenomena such as terrorism. Only the private companies can help here. We are one of them. It is crystal clear, he writes, that the present American administration does not have the stomach to oppose the American IT conglomerates and to approve unpopular yet totally necessary regulations. So he is saying, Apple and Google and others are being allowed to have undecryptable end-to-end encryption. And so he's saying that and then this is a newsletter out to their customer base, basically, to global law enforcement and governments and others who have purchased from them in the past. He's saying, look, you need our stuff. So the hacking team is, quote, finalizing brand new and totally unprecedented cyber investigation solutions. And what has been reported sort of in the fog surrounding this is that some companies are remaining, others are reconsidering whether they want to have an affiliation with this group because, basically their past affiliation was outed and that hurts and they don't want to stay there. So anyway, I think, these guys are no doubt going to have to build up another repository of attack vectors. Unfortunately, they really do appear to have skills. They had a treasure trove of amazing goodies that no one knew about in the public, and that they were no doubt leveraging into some serious cash flow for themselves. So that got lost. And of course, as all those 0 days were found, the industry was patching them as fast as they were dug out of that 400 gigabyte data dump. They're going to need some more, but that's apparently what they're working on. And unfortunately, there is arguably a place for them. I mean, we as users and companies wanting to offer security, we want truly non-backdoored, non-broken in any way, end-to-end encryption. What that means is that that law enforcement will be forced to insert shims into systems to get in before the encryption is applied, because the data in transit, unless there is a way for a third party to crack that by altering keys or something. I mean, it's not beyond the realm, but in terms of like the weakest point of attack is the computer that is sending or receiving it before it gets encrypted and after it gets decrypted. And there, your classic model is go get a warrant in order to get legal authority to infect some suspect's machine with something that allows law enforcement that kind of shim. And so I think that's the way we're going to see it evolve. That means that, though, this is highly specialized, and so that's not skills that the FBI typically has. So it makes sense for there to be an underworld, third-party company with the expertise to then sell that capability to law enforcement that, under court order, is able to use it. I think that's the model.
This is not the only company doing this. There must be other agencies,
right?
Other groups offering these kinds of skills.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it is. You could see how it would appeal to a certain class of skilled hacker. They find defects in commercial products, and of course, we know that that's happening all the time. All of the hacking competitions are always breaking all of the browsers one way or another. So this can be done. And, Adobe Flash is constantly being patched. It's not like it's stopped being patched. It's always being fixed,
right?
As is Windows. So, we have very complex systems that have not yet been secured. So it does. And so I guess my point is that I don't even view that as necessarily nefarious, depending upon who they sell their shims to. If they sell it to law enforcement, and assuming that law enforcement acts responsibly, legally, essentially constitutionally, and gets a search warrant, then I'll actually like that, because it takes pressure off of the end-to-end encryption system that we want to have by allowing law enforcement a legal means of achieving what they want to break encryption for, but not by breaking encryption, by getting in before the encryption.